Alright, so, it's my first week doing, a lot of videos. It's my first week putting out actual content. And I decided that I want to stick with this series called Unplugged. Off-the-cuff rants and discussions about gaming and technology, whatever, right? I decided that I want to stick with that. But my roommate pointed out that the last thing that I did, that thing about Jim Sterling, was particularly weak. Mainly, it was just me insulting him. And you know what? That's not fair. So what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to do something that I wanted to do since September. I'm going to actually go ahead and point out the faulty argument he made about one of my favorite characters, a well-written, amazing character in the Metal Gear franchise. I'm going to go ahead and respond to his criticism of Quiet from Metal Gear Solid 5. So, as some would say, let's dive right into it.
Today, the Jimquisition comes with a content warning. In this episode, I will be questioning the infallibility of Hideo Kojima.
Nobody in this world is infallible. Anyone who believes that they are is a moron. Anyone who believes that someone they like is also a moron. Please, continue.
I will be questioning the portrayal of a woman in a video game. I will be, and I do not say this lightly, I will be going full SJW.
Ah yes, good. An inward admission that you're going full retard for this video. Please, continue.
I.e. providing some light-hearted critique of something in the industry and suggesting that a AAA game isn't perfect.
Once again, no one believes that any AAA game is perfect, and anyone who does is a moron.
I realise that some of you are sensitive to these issues, and that's why I present the warning now. So please enjoy. Obviously, there'll be spoilers for Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain, and while you're writing the 1,000-word rebuttals to the criticism, I'll be too drunk to care by that point, so have it away!
If you haven't sobered up by now, Jim, I would be extremely worried for your health.
So let's cut to the fucking chase. Quiet's visual design is absolutely bloody shit in Metal Gear Solid 5, and the reasoning for it is even shitter.
Okay, so what you have done here is you started us off by stating your opinion. That's fine. Subjective opinions are okay to have. I will not knock on you simply on the fact that you have an opinion. My opinion differs from yours, but they're still both opinions. There is no fact, only interpretation. You know what? There was even... Friedrich Nietzsche said that. They quoted it in this game. It's great. It's cool. What you then followed up by saying was that the excuse for their design was shitter. Shitter? The excuse was shitter than the design itself. Shitter. Do you mean shittier? Jim, could you not have been asked to put an I in your goddamn... You omitted a letter. For what reason? For what reason? I'm sorry, this is almost... This right here is just pretty much a personal... Why? 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 What does shitter mean? Are you saying that their opinion... that their explanation for it was literally a toilet? What the fuck is going on here?
When it was first revealed, the world at large was like, really? She's a sniper and she's going to be parading around in the nutty with her tits flopping out.
Okay, the literal only problem I have right here is that you said nutty. She's not nude. Bikini is not nude. I don't know if you've ever been nude before, Jim. I really don't care about your personal life too much, but bikini is not it. Just wanted to get that straight. All right. Proceed.
Oh, yeah? And Hideo Kojima was all, once you recognise the secret reason for her exposure, you will feel ashamed of your words and deeds. So now, those of us who've played the game know the secret reason, and I have to tell you, I ain't feeling too ashamed.
Oh, I have to imagine he's talking to actual gamers, James. Do you mind if I call you James? Calling you Jim just feels too informal for this kind of thing. James, I have to imagine he is talking directly to actual gamers who might have some kind of problem with her design. It's clear that you're not going at this from the stance of a gamer. I know that you are one, but you're, as you've said, you're going full SJW. So I can't consider you for the integrity of this conversation. I cannot consider you a gamer. So for right now, you're just a social justice meatball.
Not for myself, anyway. Basically, she breathes through her skin. That's the secret twist. For reasons we can only describe as Metal Gear logic, Quiet breathes through her skin, and that's why she's naked all the time. Now, I might buy this excuse if we regular humans needed 1,000 mouths and noses all over our bodies with which to breathe, but we don't.
Okay, James, please explain to me why the standard anatomy of a human body is relevant right now. It's not. The point being that it's already been established her anatomy is different. It has been vastly altered from a human anatomy. Her internal organs were burned away because of the ethanol or the alcohol or whatever it was Big Boss threw on her. That permanently burned away her interior organs. So what had to happen is the parasites needed to find a way to bypass the internal organs to continue function. So what happened is the parasites turned the epidermis into the stomach, the mouth, the lungs. Basically everything needed for basic human survival. Now imagine, James, for just a second, that you had 90% or even 100% of your mouth covered at all times, incapable of taking those nutrients in, right? So imagine for a second that 90% of your mouth was rendered inoperable. Do you think you would survive very long? Do you think that you wouldn't go hungry very quickly? That's the issue that's going on here. The less skin, the more skin that is showing for Quiet, the more she is capable of taking in nutrients and other things that allow her to operate. This is explained in the game. I don't know why you felt the need to compare it to basic human anatomy. We know that humans have a mouth, one mouth, and one nose. It's clear, it's been made clear to us as the players that she doesn't have use of those organs anymore, and that the skin is the only way for her to get those nutrients. I'm moving on.
Or if she wasn't wearing torn tights, or if she was like Mystique from the X-Men movies who is proper naked but looks inhuman enough to where it's not basic titillation, or if she'd shaved her damn head.
What the fuck does shaving her head have to do with anything? Okay, I mean, I can kind of understand going after the torn up tights look that she has going. Sure, that's unnecessary. I don't personally have a problem with it, but it's unnecessary. Making her look like Mystique? Yeah, why? Why would you? Why? There's no reason for them to. The most that they should have gone for would be to make her look like one of the Skulls. But that wasn't what they were going for. She's different from the Skulls. She's a completely different, she has a similar type of parasite, but her parasite isn't the same, and thus it didn't achieve the same results as the parasite that the Skulls have. Similar, but not the same. So there had to be some stylistic differences in how she looks as compared to the Skulls.
But no, it's bollocks. The reason is bollocks, and Kojima pretending she's not the way she is just to be gawked at is bollocks too. The game's camera gawks at her all the time, perving at her with every scene, and when you're on the helicopter with her, she's constantly flashing ass and showcasing her tits for you.
Well, gee, James, you sure got me there. I can't think of a single reason why Quiet might be flashing her assets at Venom Snake. Oh wait, yes I fucking can, because it was told to us in the game. Quiet was in love with Snake. She couldn't speak, so the only language she could use was body language. After an interrogation with Miller, Ocelot, and Venom Snake, they leave, and she speaks to Codewalker. And Codewalker asked her in Navajo. She told him that Skullface had intended to use her as an ace in the hole against Venom Snake and his army by having herself be captured so that she could be taken to Mother Base. But she was in love with Venom Snake, so she vowed not to speak English again so she couldn't infect anyone. What, is the narrative you're trying to push here that female characters can't be in love? Or that female characters can't be in love with men? What are you trying to put here? What's this? What is this?
Ain't none of that because she needs to breathe through her skin. And you know what? If Kojima had just owned up to it, I'd have been so much cooler with the situation. If he'd have just said, the secret reason for her exposure is that I just wanted to get a gigantic fucking hard-on with my big Kojima cock, I'd have had so much more respect for it.
Am I sensing some projection here? James, do you just want to masturbate furiously to quiet with your huge sterling cock?
If only he didn't use a flimsy narrative reason he invented himself as a pretentious excuse to get her in the nude.
Okay, James, once again, I need to object to your use of the word nude. Nude does not apply to someone in a bikini. I don't know if you've ever been in the presence of nudity. I don't know if you've ever seen someone in the nude. I don't. Again, your personal life is not my interest. But a bikini isn't nudity. It's not. It's close. I can give you like a half a point for effort. But a bikini is not nudity. It's not. So please, carry on.
In that regard, I have a lot more respect for games like Onechambra that at least wear their perviness on their sleeve. They own it. They know people are there to pop boners over girls in bikinis while they fight zombies, and they don't hide away from it. I can respect that over all of these games that toss out sexy shit while trying to pretend there's some higher, narratively noble reason for it. It's trying to have your cake and eat it too, looking for a cheeky wank while telling yourself it's more than just a cheeky wank.
Except Kojima does wear his perviness on his shoulder. I don't think I don't think you. Okay, so here. I've been ordering Yoji Shinkawa, the game's art director, to make the character more erotic. And he did it well, said Kojima on his English Twitter account. Recently I've been making characters this way. I create the setting thoroughly, how she spent early life, name, style, favorite phrase, fashion, action, to stand the character out. He continued, the initial target is to make you want to do cosplay, or to make its figurine sell well. But you know what? Jim? I'm going to say this isn't the first time that Kojima has designed a character around a specific gaze. Clearly, Quiet's design may have been inspired by the male gaze. I'm not going to lie. But she's not the first. Regarding Metal Gear Solid 2, Kojima received much fan mail. One letter was from a girl who stated she did not want to play a game with an old man. He took this into consideration. He and his team designed a character more appealing to women, resulting in Raiden's appearance. Designer Yoji Shinkawa noted that he and the other character designers took a great deal of inspiration for Raiden's appearance from the Bishie archetype. Because Raiden was a new character, the staff designed him carefully, giving him white hair to symbolize his introduction. Shinkawa further noted that Raiden ended up with an overall feminine appearance. His outfit, the skull suit, was difficult to design, until the staff decided on a bone-like concept. Shinkawa wanted to make Raiden sexually appealing, emphasizing the tightness of his clothing. And with how much beautifully rendered man-ass we've seen in the series, it's not surprising that Kojima designs his characters to be sexually appealing. I mean, come on. You can't tell me that all of the characters weren't made for ogling in the Metal Gear series. I mean, come on. The amount of detail that goes into making all of these male asses just fucking irresistible. No, Kojima wants all of his characters to be sexy. And damn right he should. For fuck's sake. The amount of fan art the asses of Metal Gear alone inspire is astounding. So, why are we complaining? Why are you complaining about this one female character?
I mean, the game's dialogue directly compares her to the End from Metal Gear Solid 3, stating they both act photosynthetic. Now let's have a look at the End, shall we? He's covered almost entirely in a leaf snuggie. Where are his old wrinkly tits hanging about?
James, the reason the End's wonderful geriatric tits aren't flopping about is because that is a moss. He's not wearing a snuggie. That is a whole body moss. It's a moss that grew over his entire body. I'm sure I understand that you forgot your Metal Gear Solid lore. It's fine. The End's body is engulfed in a parasitic moss. It wasn't. It might not have been beneficial initially to him, but once it started grafting itself to his skin and his internal organs, etc., it started becoming a parasite that was benefiting. It was a mutual benefit, right? The parasite gets a host, or the moss has a host body to attach itself to, and it provides to him nutrients and other things through his skin. But it's still a moss that covers his entire body. It's not a leaf snuggie. And you have to remember, the parasite that is in Quiet, and also the parasite that is in Code Talker, is derived from that parasite. The abilities have been genetically derived from the moss, but it's not a moss that is on Quiet. Now, that would have been interesting to see Quiet covered in a full body moss. Or, actually, now that I think of it, it could have been interesting if her skin was permanently altered in color by the chlorophyll of that moss parasite. That could have been cool. I understand now what you might have meant by comparing to Mystique. That actually could have been cool. But again, that wasn't what they were going for. What they were going for was to keep her looking more human than the Skulls and not try to leech an appearance off of a Marvel Universe character. I don't even know if the Japanese know much about Marvel Universe.
Why can't I see his acorn-shaped arsehole? Because it's selective bullshit is why. You can go ahead and cry about SJWs at this point if you like, I know some of you will, but it's not that I'm against boobs and arses and vaginas and cocks and all that. Love them. Genitals? Brilliant. Love looking at human genitalia. I love to watch genitals just pound in it. And pound in it. Pound in it. Pounding it. Pounding it. Pounding it. It's not nudity on its own that cheeses my onions, it's the dishonest, cowardly way it's being delivered not just in MGS5, but a range of games clamouring for a mature status. From the sex scenes in BioWare RPGs that amount to little more than prizes for bribery minigames, to the downright creepy, awkward, narratively inappropriate shit you get in every Quantic Dream farce, these titles want sex for sex's sake, but they're too afraid to just fucking admit it.
Honestly, I don't really think I need to say anything more. At this point, James, you've lost all credibility in this argument. So maybe I should just let you rant some more. I don't know. Fucking whatever.
I find it especially sad they did this with Quiet, though, because she's a fucking awesome, badass character when the game allows her to be.
Correction, James. She is an awesome, badass, well-written character, period. Not just when the game allows her to be, and that's not negated by her outfit. To look at somebody, or a character, and say, wow, you know, they're a pretty awesome person, but they dress like a skank, so that's negated. How horrible is that? How... you know what, Jim Sterling? You're a really cool guy, you know? You're pretty smart. You do some pretty cool evaluations of the gaming industry, but oh man, that suit that you wear, it's just a little bit too conservative, just a little bit too conservative, and it reinforces gender archetypes. I can't take you seriously when you're wearing that suit. It fucks with me. You have to take the suit. You have to start wearing something else. That is not going to work out. I cannot continue. I can't take you seriously while you're wearing such a manly outfit. How stupid does that fucking sound? Seriously.
The best backup buddy character by far, and one of the most narratively interesting elements to a game that, by MGS standards, really did lack in the writing department. But the tragedy of her backstory is undermined by the skeevy camera shots. The sheer awesomeness of her abilities and battle capability is upstaged by her frankly ludicrous appearance, and the fact you can unlock later costumes for her that actually put her in some damn clothes only serve to highlight what an abject failure her default design is. Later in the game, you can unlock a number of actual threads, including an XOF uniform that makes her look like what she actually is, a hardened soldier.
Oh, yes, because cosmetic costumes that change the appearance of a character are absolutely always canon, and not just there for cosmetic purposes. Jim, what the fuck what are you...
A killer sniper, and someone with whom not to fuck. Plus, her clothed outfits reveal just the right amount of skin to continue this photosynthesis narrative. Because any amount of skin would do, because we only breathe through 3 small holes in our faces anyway, and if the end gets a leaf snuggie, then the bikini isn't needed. Instead, we get a cartoon version of wobbly-boobed sexiness. Oh, and you have to unlock the silver and gold versions of Quiet first, because we may as well literally turn her into a walking trophy. What Kojima promised would be the antithesis to the women characters in the past who are excessively exposed is instead the embodiment of women characters in the past who are excessively exposed. Even worse than that, it's an intellectual Trojan horse pretending it's not just wank fodder when it is undoubtedly wank fodder. Metal Gear Solid is an inherently silly series. I get that, it's a big part of what I love about it, but it also knows, usually, when to take things seriously, which is another thing I love. This is the series that brought us the boss, one of the best fucking fictional women in games, who wasn't just a badass, but looked the damn part too, and the cutscene camera wasn't obsessing over the boss's physical assets, and she only showed skin in a scene that genuinely showcased her vulnerability and had a real narrative reason for it.
You know, I can't fault you on that, because I love the boss too, and I think that part of the reason that she wasn't exposed at all ever was, oh, I don't know, something to do with the fact that we're supposed to see her as kind of a mother figure. I can only imagine that might be the reason. We don't usually look at our mothers naked, so it makes some sense. But you know, I could just be hallucinating or imagining something. Where am I again?
With Quiet, the priority is clear, and that priority is not to make her an interesting character. If it was, then she'd have been treated like the boss.
Right. So, the logic is as follows. She's dressed in a bikini, therefore any badassness is negated. Am I following correctly? This is what you're trying to say, right, Jim? The fact that she is in a revealing outfit has completely negated any badassedness about her? That's what you're trying to get at, right? That people who wear little clothing, or wear bikinis, or wear just about anything that could be construed as sexy, those people are completely unable to be taken seriously and have awesome stories. Got it. Thank you.
Besides which, if you explain away everything with "it's a Metal Gear game, it's always silly and you're stupid if you criticise it," then you ultimately do Hideo Kojima himself a disservice as a writer. I like to think I've a bit more respect for him than to simply shrug at everything he does and say, that's just what he does. I say that about Michael Bay, because I don't respect Michael Bay. Yeah, MGS can be stupidly, gloriously dumb, but it's capable of being provocative and thoughtful too, something the stupidity often enhances through its contrast of mood. With Quiet, MGS5 misfired, and it would be disrespectful to the game to pretend it's incapable of misfiring. Fact is, Kojima can do better. Kojima has done better, and to not demand better is to devalue his work overall. You could argue that looks don't make the character, but imagine if Escape from New York had Kurt Russell wearing a clown nose the whole time, or if everyone in Memoirs of a Geisha had gigantic massive hands. Visual design is an important part of any character, and getting it wrong can be a real fuck up. There's a reason we get Best Costume awards for other visual media. Hell, with enough nerds that get pissy over a person of colour being in the Fantastic Four, I don't want to hear it from nerds saying a character's appearance isn't important. As a video game, I adore Metal Gear Solid 5. I really do, as you'll know if you read my near-glowing review. But narratively, it's a letdown, despite its interactive brilliance, and Quiet is a perfect example of how self-defeating the game's story is. Kojima had on his hands a potential new icon in MGS series history, a new boss, but he let his testes rule the design and he gave us an object to drool over first and a complicated individual second. Worse than that, he pretended otherwise. The only difference between this and Senran Kagura is at least Senran Kagura has the spine to admit what it is. But I know some people swallow it hook, line and sinker that because there's a narrative reason for it, that's good enough, even if it's a limp reason that's been invented from whole cloth. So maybe on the next Jimquisition, I'll start campaigning hardcore for vile monster Donald Trump's presidency, and it'll be okay. You know why? Because I breathe through my skin. So vote for Donald Trump. Because I breathe through my skin.
Oh, what am I doing with my fucking life?
Oh, come on! You're gonna try and you're gonna try and do an impersonation of a snake. Come on. Okay, let me show you how it's done. What am I doing with my life? 'Cause I'm already a pervert. But in all seriousness, come on. Oh, you're so funny, James. That was such a funny joke. I'm sitting here laughing so much.
So yesterday, I was urinating into the exhaust pipe of my neighbour's car, and they caught me doing it, and they said, "Jim, why the fuck are you urinating in the exhaust of my car?" And I said, "Can you not see? I'm clearly breathing through my skin right now."
Hey, James. What's your excuse for having such a shitty video?
Can you not see? I'm clearly breathing through my skin right now.
Hey, James. It appears that you've drank the feminist Kool-Aid. Do you have any comments?
Can you not see? I'm clearly breathing through my skin right now. And the neighbour apologised, felt ashamed of their words and deeds, and said, "Carry on, slide your little chungus up the exhaust of my car and piss away, my friend, piss away, because you breathe through your skin."
Life's good when you're a ninja block.
Yes, we need to piss inside your car. Yes, we need to climb on the roof of your house at night while you're asleep and stamp on it, yelling, "I breathe through my skin, I breathe through my skin, vote for Donald Trump, I breathe through my skin." Please, have a little understanding for those of us who breathe through our skin, and thank God for me, because I breathe through my skin.
You know what I'm thankful for? I'm thankful you stopped talking, James. Normally I love your content. Normally you're brilliant. But this was just brain slush. I don't know when exactly it was that you drank the feminist Kool-Aid, but it's clear that you cannot keep a clear head when talking about this stuff. And you know what? I kind of understand. It takes a lot of guts to take a permanent stance against social justice nonsense. It takes a lot of guts to take a stand against a bunch of people who think that they're right about everything. And I can understand that you just don't have it. James, I think you really need to take a good look at yourself in the mirror. Social justice apologetics are not your style. And to be honest, I hope you figured that out. Anyways, guys, it was real fun. This is Teflon X5. Have a fantastic day.